Hello, future millionaires. This is Aztec, and this is the CSE. Today, we're going to go ahead and talk about some setups that we can do on the charts. I got the Bitcoin to USD 4-hour Coinbase chart. I'll also be going over the 1 day with you guys. We're going to be talking about different setups that we can possibly play. This is not financial advice. This is just things that I'm currently looking at and ways that I may play this market. Now, beyond the charts, today we're going to go ahead and try to incorporate some coin market cow future events that may also kind of make the market move. I like to go ahead and, when I'm looking at the charts, I don't just do TA. I want to do a little bit of fundamentals as well. And of course, like always, as much as I can, I like to talk about Cardano. And Cardano is just heating up, guys. It's just starting. I mean, it's like it was in the womb for 9 months and it was just born, This thing, the behemoth, Cardano, the all-seeing eye, this thing is just barely starting. And I want to give you guys 5 reasons why I believe Cardano is the coin to rule them all. Of course, I'm just oversimplifying everything, and there's too many points to really make, but we're gonna make this fun and just keep it simple. So anyways, guys, let's go ahead and get started. I will also kind of go over this AMA by Charles Hoskinson that he did just recently on the 15th, just a couple days ago. It's something that you guys definitely need to look at if you're interested in Cardano or are already an investor in Cardano. Now, basically, we are looking at the Bitcoin to USD 4-hour Coinbase chart currently, and these are my opinions, guys. Right now, I think that we're overall forming what looks to be a giant descending wedge, and you can see that here. This is these bright yellow lines. They really look like looks like it's forming a huge descending wedge. Now, I know that it's not good to kind of make patterns and try to extrapolate too far into the future, but generally when you're doing analysis, you're going to look at many factors and try to get an idea of where you're going in the short to medium term. So it looks like we're forming this descending wedge currently, and also you can have patterns within patterns. So currently we're forming a symmetrical triangle. This is the white lines, and we can see that it's symmetrical because the lines are converging here, and this pattern is tightening up. There isn't a horizontal line above or underneath this triangle here. It's very much pointing, horizontally, so it's basically a symmetrical triangle, both sides here. And you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4 touches. And in the short term, let's just keep this simple. If this is truly a symmetrical triangle, we really got it rejected right over here at 3,650 area, off of this 50-day moving average here, and also this trend line or pattern that we're forming here, which is the symmetrical triangle top of it. And it looks like we're moving back down towards the bottom, so we could very much see us correct down to about $3,560 area in the short term. It looks like we could see this, we could be in this symmetrical triangle for a couple more days. I believe that we're probably going to see some type of decision. We're going to figure out where we're going in the short term by this weekend. You can see here that if we're looking at the date at the bottom here, that we may make a decision by the 20th, maybe even the very start of the 21st, Monday. So there's definitely some time to move sideways in this symmetrical triangle. Now, basically, the way to play this, I mean, it's a symmetrical triangle. Like they say, per classical technical analysis, you really can't know where you're going to go from here, it's generally you're going to assume you're not able to assume where you're going. You're only able to know where you're going based off hindsight and wherever you truly break out from. So that could either be a breakout from below or above this triangle. So basically, you could, you know, if you're already in a position and you wanted to short, you could, you know, basically put in a short if you have like a BitMEX account or something like that around 3,500. If you break underneath 3,560, 3,550 area. So if you come down here, you could possibly put in a short, because we, you know, if we broke underneath this this 3,550 area and out of this symmetrical triangle, and we broke down with volume, just, you know, immediately shot down and through this $3,550 area, you know, you'd want to see volume, guys, a true breakout. If you saw a true breakout and we broke out and you broke under this immediately, you know, under this line here, you could put in a short around here, and, you know, you might stop that short possibly around 3,450. And if you broke, if we broke out from here and moved up, you know, you could stay in your. Another way to possibly play this is if you're already in a position with Bitcoin, or whatever altcoin you're in. If you're watching Bitcoin to know where that altcoin may go, which is how I personally do it. The other bullish setup could be is if you broke up with volume to the upside of this symmetrical triangle, and let's say broke through the $3,700 area, and you started and you broke through, you know, it'd be really important to also move up above this 100-day moving average, this green line here. So you'd want to really be above 3,700. If you broke up immediately, we saw the volume, and we didn't just, you know, butt up against 3,680. We actually broke up with some nice volume above the EMA, the line here at 3,680, and kind of started to, you know, bounce upon this EMA here. You could possibly see that you'd want to stay in your position and, you know, set a trailing stop loss, and, you know, you might be able to then take profits at about $3,850 area or $3,800 area, you know, at that point. So there's really 2 points where this can go, and, you know, per classical technical analysis, you know, the way I would have to, you know, per this video, you know, maybe not necessarily how I'm going to play this specifically, but, you know, to keep it safe, your two safest plays here is waiting for a breakout underneath this line here, or a breakout above this line here, to really know where you're going. You know, you could put a short in around here, or you could stay in your position and start setting that stop loss, you know, moving it up slowly as we climb. And it looks like the ultimate target would be around, you know, the $3,800 area if we broke up from here. So there's 2 ways we can play this symmetrical triangle, and, you know, if we go ahead and look at the indicators, I mean, this RSI is really just, you know, sitting at 50, guys. Right now it's sitting at 47. Yeah, 47. That's really, you can't really work with that. You know, we can't use that. If we go ahead and zoom in, let's go ahead and zoom in real deep here. Look at this MACD. You know, it looks like we're going to break down in the short term, which means we at least break down to about right here around 3,560. I would suspect in the short term that we wouldn't break down immediately once we touch the 3,559. I actually think this symmetrical triangle is going to play out to the end here of the triangle. This is just my opinion, guys, you know, but it doesn't change the way that you can play this symmetrical triangle, you know. if you break underneath this line, you can still put in a short. But I would suspect that we move down based off this MACD. We're kind of trend. The MACD is above the trend line, pointing down, looking like it wants to. It's kissing the trend line. It looks like it wants to break down. The buying pressure is subsiding. It looks like we want to move down to the $3,550 area. And this is a really nice support. It's been a nice support. This is the 318 of the Christmas rally, and it's been a nice support area. But I would suspect that we would possibly bounce here, move here, and kind of keep tightening the pattern and break up or down out of this symmetrical triangle around this area here, like I said, over the weekend. Now that would be the short term based off the MACD and how we're looking in this symmetrical triangle. I mean, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 touches, so this is definitely shaping up to be kind of like this tightening pattern, definitely looking like a symmetrical triangle, the pattern within the pattern. But in the short term, if we bounce here and we tighten up, we need to look at the daily to make the point that I want to make next. So let's go ahead and zoom in, and we can take a look here at where we're at now. Basically, the RSI is still really just in the middle, 44, and this MACD is showing selling pressure here, and it looks like, again, like we probably would keep up some selling pressure in the next day or two. So you have these next 2 days right here where this dotted line is right here. And it doesn't look like the MACD is scooping up on the daily chart to move above the trend line just yet. So it looks like we're still going to fall based off the daily chart, which kind of coincides with what I was just previously saying, meaning we could possibly touch 3,550. And then at that point, within the next 2 days, we'll see where this MACD shapes up. And it would generally, based off how it's looking, the selling pressure is subsiding, but we still have selling pressure. We may at that point, 2 days, 3 days from now, see this selling pressure subside, and we may bounce from here, and this MACD may start curling upward for a bounce. So basically, the point that I'm making is, in the very, very short term, it looks like we want to move down to $3,550 area, and then kind of tighten up. And sometime this weekend, I'm suspecting that we actually move upward at this point. And this kind of goes along with what I was saying in my last video, and we move up to the $3,800 area, as like an ultimate target. Basically, it very similar to what I said in the last video. And there's not much else that we can look at. If we look at CoinMarketCap, let's go ahead and look at these events that are coming up. Is there anything that we can see that would really kind of change the outlook or challenge the technical analysis that we're looking at? I mean, let's see, we're not really seeing anything here. I mean, we have a coin burn tomorrow on the 19th. It's saying on the 19th or earlier, so Binance may be having a coin burn. So you could see some added positive value or positive push from Binance in the next day or so. Some manipulation there, but not necessarily. And if we look at the other events, these are all interesting events, but nothing that I would see some heavy manipulation out of. Let's see, you got Waves, Blockchain, Gamer Connects. Waves is an interesting project, but no, not that doesn't look like anything that would move the market specifically. Let's see, you keep scrolling here. on the 24th, you have the possibility of the back launch. You know, people are already suspecting that it's going to be postponed. You know, BAC's going to back out, and if people are already assuming that it's not going to happen, this date, even if they postpone, and may not really move the market. It didn't really move the market back in November when they were supposed to launch, so it may not really move the market again. And who knows what news they actually give at that point. So this could be more positive than negative. Let's keep scrolling. And this is the 24th is outside of the symmetrical triangle, so we're not seeing anything negative that would fundamentally say we're going to move down out of the symmetrical triangle. And if we look at the 25th even further on out, this is the CME. We've been seeing bullish action from the wells with these Bitcoin future contracts, so this kind of actually coincides with us moving up later on next week. So again, I don't see anything that really indicates that we're going to be breaking down from this symmetrical triangle, but it is a potential. So guys, to sum everything up, if we fall under the $3,550 area, you could place a short or sell, tether up possibly, and buy in again at the bottom of this descending wedge around $3,450 area. And if you're already in a position, you could, if we break up, you could just keep setting your stop loss higher and higher with whatever coin you're in, and we could have a possible rejection and start moving down once Bitcoin hits $3,800 area. So anyways, that's the technical analysis I have for you guys today. Let's go ahead and talk about Cardano now. Cardano is just blowing up, guys. I'm going to go ahead and just make this quick because I know it took a lot of time with the technical analysis. So 5 points. First of all, to me, what is very, very important is that Cardano is choosing to be proof of stake. So really nowadays, I don't see proof of work coins that are just starting. I don't see those projects really going anywhere. And the reason why Bitcoin, which is proof of work, can still have a future being proof of work is that Bitcoin's already established now. Bitcoin already has a bunch of miners all around the world and essentially has a ton of hash power. So it's very hard to do like a 51% attack against Bitcoin. It's really impossible at this point. Not impossible, but it would be extremely hard to do. So, and very expensive. So basically Bitcoin had enough time to grow its community and its miners, and there's enough people behind it that makes the decentralized project very strong and very hard to attack. So it's robust, it's clunky, but it's robust, and it's a very strong project with lots of history. So Bitcoin being proof of work, I see can succeed. But if you have a new project that's, let's say, proof of work, a new project that wants to be proof of work, they can be manipulated. They can be attacked, 51% attacked very easily because they don't have enough miners and people behind the project. So the strength of those projects and the integrity of those projects are not very strong. So right out the gate, my number one point is that Cardano is looking to be proof of stake, and that really kind of makes it more robust in the short term, with projects that are being birthed now at this time in the crypto blockchain world. Now my second point, and I'm going to go ahead and just blow through these points. Basically Cardano is very scalable. If you look at the way that these scientists and coders are developing Cardano, they're looking to, with the way the epics work and everything, the project will not really we won't have to worry about the project bottlenecking like, let's say, Ethereum. I would say go ahead and look up, if you want to do like an easy education on the epics, you could go ahead and do Cardano epics in Google, and you can find a bunch of information there. Now, basically, that does mean that Cardano will be more scalable than Ethereum, and Ethereum's having all these issues with scalability. So I really see that Cardano has a really bright future with scalability. And knowing that it has that future with scalability, my second point here, being that it's very scalable, you don't have to worry about Cardano just being for like gambling dApps or supply chains necessarily. Not that those are bad, but those are like very simple things to apply to a blockchain. With the way that the gambling dApps kind of work with the cryptocurrency, it's it's a little bit more simple of a dApp to go ahead and apply to a blockchain. And also with supply chains, just tracking basically information, the blocks and the blockchain, that works very well with blockchain. So you can actually see Cardano, because of its scalability, actually pulling off things like being used for fintech, financial technologies, and being the actual backbone of these more interesting dApps in the future. So scalability is my second point. Third, I always follow the stars. Of course, you got Charles Hoskinson, and just follow him for a while. Check out his Twitter. The guy is amazing. He's amazing. But not only is Charles Hoskinson amazing, and someone that you would want to follow in the crypto blockchain world, but he has this knack for pulling together the most brilliant people in blockchain. You have scientists, mathematicians, doctors actually working on Cardano, and they're using, these brilliant people are using peer review to go ahead and add to their significance of being very brilliant. So my third point, you have the best and brightest truly working on Cardano. These are not your average coders working on a project. These are not hype masters, PR people just pumping a coin. These are scientists, mathematicians, doctors that are working on this project, and that should be a point at least somewhere on the radar for you guys. There's nothing wrong with being your average or general coder. I have a lot of respect for people that code in general. Coding is definitely one of my weak spots. So I have a lot of respect for anyone that can code. But these are people that truly spent a lot of time, either getting the doctorates or are able to use Haskell. Very brilliant coders are people that are putting together this project. So that's my third point. Fourth point is that Cardano's not just in the U.S. It's not just U.S. based. They are moving to the U.S. or moving to Wyoming to establish the IOHK base there. But guys, Cardano is beyond that. It's global. It's in Japan. Just the other day on the Cardano trading channel or the Cardano general Telegram channel, there was someone talking about you're able to actually use ADA to buy a house in Japan. So we have a really strong birth from Japan. People used to call Cardano the Japanese Ethereum. Really, we're beyond that. That's really, to me, Cardano is the behemoth. It is the all-seeing eye of the the projects out there. But beyond Japan, you have Africa. There's so much that blockchain can do in Africa, and you see the developments in the way that we're shaking hands in Africa and training developers out there. That's going to be a big deal there. And also South Korea. South Korea is huge. I mean, most of their population knows about crypto, and they're already using crypto out there. That's where you can actually buy cards with ADA on the cards and use them to pay in different stores, in South Korea. So you basically, my fourth point is that you already have Cardano in some of the most valuable real estate of the world, where you want to see your cryptocurrency project thrive in, and Cardano's already there, making headway, shaking hands. They're already off the boat, guys, and they're already working full steam ahead. So Cardano is that's the fourth point. Cardano's moving ahead all throughout the world. It's global. My fifth point, being an investor, Cardano is extremely affordable to pick up right now. If you're looking and you're comparing Cardano to its highs of 2017, it's extremely affordable. And a lot of people are already saying that if this is not the bottom of, our cryptocurrency market, we're very close to the bottom. And I would have to agree with that, in general. Basically as an investor, if we're already close to the bottom, these are, all these prices that we're seeing, even if it goes down to 1 cent, 2 cents, Cardano is still a steal at its current price, in the 4 cent region, at 6 cents, at even 10 cents, it's still a steal. So from an investor standpoint, my fifth point, Cardano is, to me, looks, and this is not financial advice, guys, this is just my opinions that I'm talking to you guys about, but Cardano looks like it's a very, it's very affordable, something that has a lot of potential from an investor type standpoint. If you're a trader, it has lots of volatility, and there's so much more to be built, which basically initiates speculation for Cardano, which generates higher price. That's all positive for Cardano. So my fifth point, if we're looking at it from kind of like an investing, trading type outlook, it looks very good there. So yeah, guys, that's my 5 points on Cardano, and I know that's extremely simplified, but I think that knowing that it's proof of stake, number one, going to be extremely scalable, go ahead and look up epics and how that works. Knowing that you have the best and brilliant working on the project, knowing that it's global and that they're already working globally, and that it's very affordable to buy into Cardano, and this is generally speaking, in my opinion, looks like a great area to buy in to Cardano. These 5 points to me show that you're already better than potentially in the future going to be better than Ethereum with scalability. You're going to have, because of that, you'll probably be able to develop like financial technologies, so banks and all the other financial type categories can go ahead and use Cardano as a backbone of their dApps, and you have the best and brilliant creating it, not just throwing code together and throwing it out for everyone and hoping it works and fixing things as it goes, but they're perfecting everything slowly through peer review. All these points really show me that these you can kind of apply these points against the top 10 other currencies. If you go to CoinMarketCap and you just want to go ahead and look at projects like Ethereum has scalability issues, It definitely can compete with XRP. The Bitcoin Cashes, to me, they're irrelevant. Definitely can compete with EOS. Definitely competes with Stellar on many levels. Litecoin is, an interesting project, but how relevant will it be in the future? Tron is a very interesting project, but we need to see really where this goes. Tron needs to get past its past of just how people think of it as a hype coin, and we need to see more of the technology rolled out in the use case there being proven. So if we just look at these coins here, all definitely significant projects. I am not going to say any of these projects are crap coins, but guys, if you kind of compare Cardano's future to these projects' future, you can see that Cardano is definitely either able to compete head to head with them in the future, or is potentially going to be better than them. So yeah, anyways, check out this AMA Charles Hoskinson did on the 15th. I'll go ahead and link all this information down below for you guys. But the reason this is very important for you guys to look at if you're Cardano people is he actually, if you drop down the description area of his video, he actually outlines minute by minute these points and portions of the video, and this is extremely educational. This video is about where Cardano is going in 2019 and the work that they've done. If you're going to look at anything, guys, I can say your next video after this video, if you have time, look at this AMA. It's long, but take a little, go ahead and look at things that may interest you if you don't actually already know about some of these topics, and go ahead and look at them, guys. This is really showing you, it's adding on to my 5 points of why Cardano is the coin to rule them all. And it's all from the word, all from the straight from the the man himself, Charles Hoskinson. So yeah, guys, hopefully you like the way I kind of did my technical analysis today. I kind of gave different setups and different ways that you can play it versus just saying this is my opinion only. I'm giving you my opinion where I think we're going to go and why, but also different ways to play it, bullishly or bearish. So yeah, anyways, guys, never give up on the future of money. Take it easy.